Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Car Reviews podcast on CollectorCarCanada.CA. Before we get into this beautiful 1982 Porsche 928, I just wanted to remind you that we also have the Collector Car Stories podcast on the channel. And every week we talk to a fellow enthusiast about his or her cars, their car stories, and the fun they have with cars. So do take a look at those. Today, as I say, we've got a 1982 Porsche 928 to show you, and available very soon on the website as lot 206. And this is a very clean car, as you're about to see, but the beauty about this 82 928 is the low mileage. We're going to advertise it as sub-80K kilometers. Right now, as I sit in the car, the mileage is under 79,400 kilometers. So a real find for someone who's looking for an automatic original body 924 or 928 rather, in the original body style. As I say, nice low miler here. So that's enough for me talking in the driver's seat. Maybe I'll start the car and then I'll head over and just give you a bit of a tour of the car. So here's the start. So a nice clean start. I'll head over to the camera, take it in my hand, and I'll show you the engine. We'll have a listen to it running and the idle from the exhaust. Again, so a 1982 Porsche 928 with under 80,000 kilometers. It's still running from the start. Let's have a listen to the engine. Running smooth and clean, and there's the fan. The timing belt in there. This car's had a lot of maintenance, a lot of proactive maintenance by this owner and the previous. The current owner's had the car since 2015, and he's the second owner on the car. And we have a maintenance trail at a well-known Toronto area shop called G-Tech. The car's been in G-Tech at least annually since 2002. And we do have the records on the listing to show you that. So I got all excited about telling you about the maintenance. Another sound, another listen to the engine. And I'll walk around, let you hear the exhaust as it idles. Quite healthy too. Another thing I really like about this 1982 Porsche 928 is that I don't see any mods. There's no obvious modifications on the car. You can see even those exhaust tips. If they're not the original ones, I think they probably are the original ones, but if they are not, they're definitely the stock piece, the original style. So I've shut the engine now, shut down the engine. I'll close the hood and we'll take a good look at the exterior of the car. So you can see this, we still have a little bit of light this evening. Mocha brown's the color on the car. I'll show you the paint code badge here in the door jamb. So Mocha Schwarz, I'm pretty sure Schwarz in German is black. So they're calling this a brown black. I think that just is to denote it's a dark brown. But as I say, this car looks darn original, and for an 82, it's really impressive. The owners had some touch-ups done to the sort of the gravel guard here in terms of the paint, but the rest of the paint, he tells me, is original paint. So let's take a look around the car. The wheels here are 16-inch. They're same size wheels at all four corner. So the Porsche set calls these phone dial wheels, and these are original to the car. They're skinned in low mile Dunlop Sport Signature tires. They're 225s in terms of width. I know they're 16, and I think we see 225, 50, 16 for the size. Same size, as I say, all the way around. You can see also that the calipers are red, and I see those in the rears as well. And those rotors are vented as well. So yeah, on the tires, the owner put these tires on when he purchased the car in 2015. I noticed a date code of 2014 when I looked at our photos of the car. So They, as I say, they installed in 2015, but they've only got about 8,000 kilometers on them. As you can see, they're still looking pretty grippy, both in front and the rear. So going around, there's a rub strip down the side of this 928. These mirrors are kind of neat on the 928. They fold away, but they fold forward. Just a manual fold, no power for that. Here's our VIN number, which will match what you see on the listing. I also noticed today when I was up close with the car that this is a Sigla windshield. I'm not sure if the camera is able to pick up that embossing or not. But Sigla's an OEM windshield. I can't attest to it, but I suspect this is the original windshield for the car. The rest of the glass, as we'd expect, is by Securit, another Porsche OEM brand. I think the camera's picking up that Securit badge. But it's common on 928s, you see, because these do not have a remote entry, you see key marks on these little key cylinders. Don't really see any evidence of that on this car. There's a good look at the driver's rear wheel with the Dunlop Sport Signature tire. Again, 225/50/16. Maybe I'll turn on the parking lights. I know they're operational. And then, of course, the original tail light of the 928, which was produced from model year 78 to 1986. So this is right in the sweet spot of the middle of that original body style. I'll just show you the front parking lights and get back to the rear. I just want to show you those lights are operational. Oh, we've got the fogs on as well. And then I'm going to turn them off because the car's not running. Power antenna. It's operational. We have a short video on the listing that demonstrates the power antenna in operation. A rear wiper. And I think this little badge here on the window frame in the rear is the only place where you see 928 on the car. On the hood, you see the familiar Porsche crest. And then right here, of course, you see Porsche written across it. It was only in the later S4 models where you'd see an optional logo up in the top right of the Porsche embossing. So two, I'll call them kind of bumper guards. So they'll save that poly bumper cover from damage if it's a light tap, but I don't think they've done much saving. I don't see any marks on them at all. Nice and clean. Here's a good look at the passenger side rear wheel. Clean and unmarked, 225/50/16 on the Dunlop Signature or Sport Signature tire with the red caliper. I note the rotors in the rear are not vented, so we only have the vented discs on the front. A neat little item on the 928s is they have this little cover over the cap, and the cap actually is locked. So you always want to lock that to make sure that no air getting in. You don't have to worry about air getting in your fuel system. But it's nice to see that even this original flap still in place 42 years later. And there's some information there, I think, about tires from the factory. Here's evidence that the car is a Canadian market car. The US market cars, this unleaded fuel only decal is in English only. We see bilingual here, so that tells us for sure, well, it's evidence certainly of a Canadian market car. When we get to the interior, you're going to see the dominant measure on the speedometers, kilometers an hour, and that the 6-digit odometer showing under 80,000 is in kilometers. And we see that this owner is a member, a CAA member. So winding back around, I didn't show you the sunroof. The sunroof's in open position right now, and as you can see, it's not very deep in terms of the length of the car, but it's because the roof is not very long before it goes back into this hatch panel. So the sunroof panel is sitting inside of this area, so that's about as big a sunroof as a 928 can house. Same system with the mirror on the passenger side, can fold away forward. Nice rub strip. No marks on these rub strips. I don't really see any marks on the car. And then front right tire and wheel, no marks on that 16-inch phone dial either. And I really do like that the logos on the center caps are painted, so you can pick up that that's the Porsche logo. Again, the Dunlop Sports signature up front, and another look at that rotor, which is vented, as I say, with the red caliper. And there are some smudge marks on the car. The owner had it today at the Porsche Club of America Upper Canada Region Concours d'Elegance. So the car's sitting in Toronto as I record this, and it's already been to Niagara Falls and back today. So it hasn't been cleaned since. So there is a bit of road dirt on it. But even as we get low here on the front end, pretty clean down there. And we do have some, I'll show you the underside. I don't know how well the video camera is going to pick that up, but we do have some underside photos on the listing. So that's our circle check of the exterior. Let's take a look at the inside. Again, brown exterior and a brown, mocha brown on the exterior and brown on the interior as well. Maybe I'll show you this driver's seat. I was just going to note how clean the passenger seat looks. Oh, there's a bit of grass from the field where the Concours was held today. But that passenger seat looks nice and clean, no tears. And good bolsters on the sides. And even the front seat really doesn't show much wear. I guess that's reflective of the low mileage on this car. Again, under 80,000 kilometers. A fun fact about the 928, we do see 928 logos on the door jambs, despite the dearth of them on the exterior of the car. But the 928, it's got a handbrake on the left side of the driver, but the keys are not on the left like you'd see in a 911. The key goes over here on the right. So there's a look at the floor, and two pedals in this. It's an automatic. It does have a good dead pedal for those long distance drives that a Porsche 928 is made for. So climbing back into the cockpit, you can see a power mirror control there. This is a manual control for the lock, but there are power locks controlled in the center console as well. A neat little ingenious Porsche feature here. These pop out and you have a bit of storage inside there. You also get it on the passenger door. And one other neat item here is the airflow. You can see a vent here going through to here on the door. It comes out here, so that'll blow a little bit of air on the window. If you have a frosty window, this vent will. Again, power mirror there and a switch to control right and left. So we'll climb in and I'll start it up again just so our accessories are working, and you can hear it start again too. Nice, easy, sure start. That's really great. I did hear the radio earlier today, so I can attest to it's operational. I'm going to turn off the engine. We don't need it. Another nice item, air conditioning as you'd expect in a 928, but this air conditioning blows nice and cold. I felt it earlier at the Concours. Nice original VDO analog clock. 3-speed automatic transmission shifted here in the center on the floor. And then in the center, we've also got power window switches on the far sides. Inside, we've got a sunroof, and this one's to operate the rear wiper. Another ingenious 928 item. Below the dash, there's a shelf here, not just on the passenger side, but also on the driver's side. In below there, that's how you get at your fuses. The glove box operates without too much trouble at all. There's some personal items of the owner, so I don't want to look too closely. And this dash has been recovered with a leatherette. The stitch really does make it look sharp and very presentable. And the owner opted for the leatherette over leather because he didn't want to have to worry about the leather shrinking, which is probably a good move. Next, we'll take a look at the engine bay. Okay, here's a good look at the engine compartment without the engine running. This car has a V8, as all 928s do. This one has a displacement of 4.5 liters, and it was rated from the factory at 231 horsepower. And as you heard while the engine was idling, it's got a nice rumble, nice V8 rumble. Two air intakes here, and those flow up, and you see that orange piece is the air filter. I really like the Porsche crest on the engine here. Another neat thing, the battery in this car is down below in the hatch underneath the spare tire, and this right here is a post for a battery if you ever needed to get a boost or even give a boost. That's your positive terminal. Washer fluid, the normal, the usual suspects down here. But nice clean engine bay. I keep pinching myself that this is an 82, but it does have the low mileage, so I guess that's part of the secret to having such a clean engine compartment. Even the hood insulation, quite presentable, no marks on it. And same with the diagram here. Before I bring you to the hatch, I did notice a couple of features I overlooked showing you. So there you see your power seat buttons. And this is actually a volume control to the left side of the driver on the floor. I'll add that the owner tells me the car has heated seats. I'm not sure where the control is. So we'll check that before we publish the listing and clarify that. But as I say, he'd know. He told me it's got the power or the heated seats. So coming back to the hatch, I'll also mention the owner told me he's got 3 sets of keys for the car. So we're well covered there. Didn't really show you the back seats. They call this a GT car, Porsche does, Grand Tourer. So it does have the seats. For a long trip, I don't think you want to be much bigger than a 10-year-old. But in a pinch, certainly, you can put people back there and strap them in. There are 2 seat belts for those rear buckets. So a nice clean hatch. I know a bit about these cars, so I know that there's a toolkit that folds down. And this toolkit, as rarely seen on a 42-year-old 928, this toolkit looks complete to me. I'll just reattach that panel for the toolkit. A little trickier to do with one hand, with one on the camera, but there we go. This carpet's held down by Velcro. If you don't have it Velcro down and you operate the car with the windows down, this carpet will flip back. So that's a good sense. And right here, under this panel, it's got some tape on it to preserve its life, but it looks original. Here's the spare, so a space saver spare, and you need to inflate that. I don't see a compressor in this car. So if you're prudent and you buy this car, you make sure you have a compressor before you go anywhere. I'm not gonna pull the spare out, but underneath the spare down here, there's a door to get at the battery. It's just a bit involved to remove the spare. And of course, this cover, as you see, and these are shock towers for the rears. Pretty clean looking to me. Get that back into place. You feed these onto these metal loops. And that's back into place too. So I'll give one more walk around the car and then some concluding thoughts. Solid German door of the early 80s. So mocha brown on the exterior color. We'll get that paint code before we go to the concluding thoughts, but really cosmetically, I don't see any flaws. Another important item on this car, this seller has ordered our mobile pre-purchase inspection. So the inspection is scheduled for between now and the time the auction begins. And we will definitely get the inspection results on the listing. So really, you can see the cosmetics both inside and out, quite nice, excuse me, and we're adding the peace of mind with that inspection. So there's the paint code, A2 on the Mocha Schwartz. Date of manufacturer on this car, May of 1982, so a late 82 car. So again, that's a look at our 1982 Porsche 928 on CollectorCarCanada.CA. It's lot 206, And it's got, not only does it have under 80,000 kilometers, but it's going to come with a mobile pre-purchase inspection report. The seller opted for that when he did his online submission. So that inspection is going to get done between now and the time the car hits the site. And the other really important thing for Ontario buyers anyway is that the car comes with an Ontario Safety Standards certificate. So nothing to worry about in terms of getting it registered. Go to the license bureau and get your license plates. The car comes with a safety. CollectorCarCanada.CA, lot 206. Thank you everyone for watching. Bid with confidence, bid with peace of mind. You've seen the cosmetics, you'll see the inspection report. Know that it comes with the safety. 206 on CollectorCarCanada.CA. Thanks everyone, thanks for watching.